right, hello everybody. It is time. It's 1 o'clock on Sunday. That means Save Your Health Sunday with me, Clint Fuquay, the health engineer. And guess what? I'm rocking the guns again today. So, I figured I'd break them out since we're going to be shooting down guns, shooting down, come on, comedy, shooting down some myths about fat. So this is today is all about fat, fact and fiction. So I'm going to let everybody join me here. I'm going to get myself logged on here as well. That way I can see what's going on. Because, if I can't see what's going on, how do I know what's going on? Plus, I get to see everybody popping in, saying hi, and all that stuff. And I will try to say hi if I get the chance. But, it's jam-packed. Seriously, I'm going to try and get this done in like 20 minutes, but I brought like an hour's worth of information like usual. So if I talk a little fast, I'm sorry. I had my workout. Notice I got my drink here. Did you listen in last week? Protein? Okay. You know what's in there then. So let's get this rock and rolling. So yeah, today's gonna be all about fat, fact and fiction. So we're gonna melt some big fat lies. All right, 1% at a time, because literally you have to do it 1% at a time. So you can't lose a whole lot of fat all at once. It goes down 1% at a time, people. That's how it rolls. If you're looking for like a huge loss, well, you're gonna lose some health in the process. We're gonna talk about that here in just a little bit. So hey, there I am. Check that out. All right, so first off, if you want to join me here live, I do have a few seats here. We get to enjoy the show. We can kick back, we can talk. You can ask a lot more questions later on, or you can pop the questions on down below here as well, because I'm logged on now. There we go. Hello. All right, so, and you can join me right here. So PhysioFit, Trinity Mills, Midway, intensity with intelligence. Okay, we're going for the intelligence on this stuff today. So. All right, let's kick this thing off. So, some big fat lies. Let's start with some facts here, okay? Just to set the stage. So, fact number one: fat. Well, fat is actually kind of a misnomer, so to speak. Fat is actually it's storage. It's a storage unit, okay? Make sure I'm not cutting my head off here. We can't have me cutting my head off. All right, so fat, it's a storage area, okay? It's this thing called adipose tissue, all right? So you have like a little bitty tiny bit of it here. Everybody has some. It's on your outer layer of your skin, all right? We all have this storage space, okay? Think of it like you drive around town, you see all these storage places? That's what fat is. That's what your fat cells are. They're storage spaces, all right? They're there for extra storage. And, well, you may know a lot of people, or even yourself, that have a lot of extra stuff in storage that you're not using. It's just sitting there wasting away. That's what happens in fat cells, okay? So, technically, you're just doing a whole lot of storage. A lot of storing going on. Some people store a lot, some people store a little. It gets stored everywhere, okay? You can get storage in your muscles, within the muscle cells. Especially whenever all the other cells get taken care of or get filled up. And here's the thing with fat cells. They do multiply, all right? They will divide, they will multiply, just so you know. So you're not born with just a certain amount, and then that's it. No. When they fill up and they get to where they can't hold anymore, guess what they do? Boom. Now you got two of them, and they fill up. And then, see how that happens? You're made for survival, okay? Over centuries of time on this planet, you're made for survival, and part of that survival technique is storing fat for in case, okay? In case there's a famine, in case you don't catch that mastodon, in case whatever, in case there's a flood, this way you have some storage, you have some extra that you can feed off of for a couple of days in case you can't eat, and that's what it's intended for. It's for survival. The problem is, well, we're not missing much anymore, especially here in the U.S., okay? I look out and there's multiple restaurants right here. I can walk outside, I can grab a full meal of 1,200 calories for $5. Never in the history of the world have we been able to do this, okay? So it's partly a feeding problem of the fact that we're just feeding ourselves way too much. If you go back and listen to the very first video about micronutrients, you'll know why. It's because a lot of the stuff that you see out there both in the stores and at the fast food places, they have no micronutrient content, and so you have to feed and feed and feed and feed and feed to get the micronutrients that you need. All right. Sorry to bang on about that, but that ties into this. So while you're doing that, all this extra caloric value that's going in, carbohydrate, fats, both of them, they get stored. All right. Carbohydrates even more. We're going to talk about why here in a second. So, all right. So you got this adipose tissue, which people call fat. All right. It actually is not fat. Okay. Seriously, go with me on this. Fat is not fat. All right? You have a fat cell, you have adipose tissue, all right? And it stores extra sugar. Okay, you've heard of triglycerides. Okay, you get your blood test done. Okay, they come back with this number of triglycerides that are roaming around in your system. Triglycerides, 3 glycerides. Glycerol, glycerin. What is glycerin? It's a sugar. You've got 3 of these. They're bound together, okay? They're attached to another thing on the end of them. I won't get into the science of it because I'm going to bore you and go to sleep and you'll leave. But you have these 3 things, okay? Think of like 3 Twinkies or 3 Snickers bound together, okay? You got a value pack. And they're stacked and they're stored for later, okay? I'm using Snickers because the whole video is, Snickers satisfies. They don't satisfy people. They don't. Seriously. But that's what's happening. You're getting extra Snickers and you're storing them, okay? You're storing them in your storage units for what if, for just in case, all right? So I want to put that out there. That's everything that you see that you think is fat is not fat, all right? It's stored sugar. So I want everybody out there right now, say it with me, all right? Okay, I'm just going to point it out. You're not fat. You are not fat. In fact, if you want to go find a mirror, look in the mirror, point your finger at yourself and say, you are not fat. Okay? I am not fat. You are not fat. Look at yourself and believe it when you say it, because you are not fat. You are, in fact, overly sweet is what you are. That's it. That's the problem. You're overly sweet, okay? You keep on hoarding all this sweetness for whatever reason, okay? There's all kinds of issues around that. You could be mental, emotional, something going on. I suggest you see a therapist for that. I'm not your guy for that thing. But, if you're missing some sweetness in your life, things are tough, you start packing in. You start adding some extra sweetness into yourself, okay? You're trying to fill a void is usually what happens. So you're taking all this sweetness. You're taking all these extra Snickers. You're wrapping them up. You're bundling them. You're storing them away so you can have all this extra sweetness, okay? Essentially, you're trying to treat yourself. What you're going to do is you need to give away that sweetness. All right? Think of it that way. If you're giving away the sweetness, if you're putting it out in the world, it's tough to store all of it, okay? And all that extra storage, you're just giving it away. All right? Kind of like, people are doing garage sales. Do a garage sale. Open up your garage. Start giving it away. Start giving it to charity. Do something to give all that sweetness away that you got bundled up. Because if you don't give it away, here's what's going to happen. It's going to ferment. It's going to spoil. It's going to get rotten. It's going to get rotten inside of you. It's going to do very, very bad things, and we don't like that. We don't want that for you. That's where a lot of this stuff happens. A lot of that stuff happens to a lot of people. So you pack all the sweetness in, it goes bad, it spoils, it goes bad in your system, and then you get bitter, and everybody else gets bitter around you, and everything else. It's a whole thing. So take all that extra sweetness that you've got inside of you, and before it starts to spoil, start giving it away. And if it is spoiled, if it is spoiling, start throwing it in the trash. Don't give it to somebody else. Find a trash can to throw it in, and throw it in the trash can. Get rid of it as fast as you can, okay? So, yeah, this took a whole different rail, didn't it? Okay, and I didn't mean to take it here because it is an issue. All right, that needs to really be addressed beyond the dietary stuff. Okay, dietary is one thing, but we've got to get to another piece of this, which is, the world is a rough place, and we all need a lot of sweetness around us. And if you don't have some sweet people around you, you have to give yourself some sweetness. Give yourself some love. And the best way to love yourself is to give yourself good stuff. that's going to help improve your life, that's going to help build you, help you grow, help you be a better person instead of hoarding all this stuff in, okay? It can be very tough, but whenever you start doing, you start giving away, you start trashing, start getting rid of stuff. Okay, it's spring cleaning right now, okay? You're probably doing some spring cleaning around your house. Now, if you are, I suggest you get some non-toxic stuff to do it. Because another thing that fat does, it protects you, it insulates you, okay? If you're having a rough time, you will start to put on fat to protect you from that. Or you'll come in here, you'll work out extra hard, you'll put on some extra muscle to protect you. Either way, it's one or the other. You're going to have some sort of padding, some sort of insulation to protect you from the world. So you're going to have one or the other, all right? You're either going to get some extra fat padding or you're going to get some extra muscle padding so you can start pushing stuff away. And once you start throwing stuff in the trash and you start doing the spring cleaning and you start doing some movement and in your life, mentally, emotionally, you're going to start seeing a huge transformation in yourself. You're going to start releasing and getting rid of that fat. If you get rid of it and you release it, it's not like losing it. If you lose fat, you lose weight, it's like losing keys. If you lose your keys, what do? You go looking for your keys. You want to find those keys as fast as you can, and you get overly stressed about it. Stress adds more fat onto you, okay? It adds more badness, it adds more misery and everything else, and that means you want to insulate even more. So don't lose it. Quit losing fat, okay? Quit losing weight. Quit trying to just lose stuff, because you always go back, you find it, and you find more stuff, okay? You find your keys, and oh, look, I found some other stuff where I found the keys, too. And you start adding that in your pockets and everything, okay? So don't lose it. Give it away. The bad stuff, trash it. Just throw it in the trash. Get rid of it. Toss it in the fire. Do something. Just leave it alone so it never comes back. And then start donating the rest of it. Start giving it to people that need it, all right? Find a charity that you love and pour some time into that. It's Sunday. Find a church. Find whatever. Find something that's going to help fulfill you and start filling that void. And a lot of times giving back will do that. So, yeah, whole different track today, right? So that's the big thing. The other thing, okay, I talked about spring cleaning and making sure that you're using stuff that is toxic free, okay? Find stuff that is really toxic free, because if you're exposed to a lot of environmental toxins, whether you're doing gardening or you're cleaning the house or you're cleaning out the garage or you're painting stuff or whatever, you have all these toxins that are trying to invade your system. And guess where those get stored? They get stored in your fat cells, okay? Your body protectively wants to latch onto these things, store them in those storage areas that are as far away from your organs as possible, okay? I know you get fat accumulation around the organs as well, but that fat is there to protect your organs from everything else, all right? This way, all those toxins get locked up in these fat cells. They get stored in storage. So one thing you need to realize, whenever you are losing weight, all those toxins are released back in your system, okay? So be very careful whenever you start trying to do a weight loss program or anything like that, and you go the extreme route and you're trying to lose massive amounts all at once. You're going to have this flood of toxins going through your system, and that's going to turn into liver issues. It may turn into gallbladder issues. It may turn into kidney function issues. It may turn into all kinds of other issues, including cancer, okay? There may be toxic stuff there that's going to sprout, some extra cancer cells in your system because your body's not protected from that thing. So, really, before you start doing anything crazy on weight loss, find a professional, come see me, come find somebody else that can help you do this, that knows what they're doing and is going to help protect your body and shield your body from all this stuff that's about to be released in your system. You're going to have some mental emotional stuff too, so find a therapist, find somebody that can work with you on that side too, because that's a whole other piece of it, okay? You got a lot of fat up here. You didn't know your brain is not a muscle, okay? It's mostly fat, okay? It's a lot of fat, a lot of nerve tissue, and, you don't want to trash it. You definitely don't want trash in it, okay? You want it to be as healthy as possible. You want great stuff going up there. You want some really, really good fats up here, okay? And you want to protect it. So, you want to minimize the amount of toxins that are going up here and everywhere else in your system, all right? So please, find a professional to work with the physical side and the mental and emotional side, okay? You've got to have both sides of it, okay? Mind and body are one. If you can't separate them, okay? Movement is therapy. So getting in there, it does help. Going out for a walk, okay? And forget about the gym for a little bit. Take a walk, 30 minutes, 30-minute walk, 20-minute walk, 15-minute walk, whatever. Get some movement. get everything out of your mind, clear it for a little bit, okay? And just start releasing. Get into some art, play with the dogs, play with your family, whatever. Start releasing that. Start putting some sweetness back in the world, okay? So now I'm going to get back on the whole trainer thing, okay? Sorry, I'm getting deep on this one, but it was a great weekend this weekend. For everybody else that saw this weekend at Revolution, love every one of you. Seriously, y'all, the best people ever. I love you people. Yeah, you'll notice that. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot more of that too, by the way. But so yeah, it was kind of an emotional roller coaster ride, even for me this weekend, on several aspects. So just realize that you are not fat. You're overly sweet. You need to release that sweetness into the world, okay? And that's your job, to release that sweetness and put it back out in the world. Quit storing it all up. Put it out there, all right? And yes, it takes some work, all right? But once you start doing it, it's awesome. It's phenomenal. Scrooged. Watch Scrooged, okay? First off, it's Bill Murray. It's hilarious. But the message at the end of Scrooged is beautiful, all right? He learns how to give of himself. Great stuff. I know, it's a Christmas movie. It's great, though, any time of the year. It's Bill Murray. Come on. All right, so back to my stuff here. So, fat triglycerides, okay? So we got it now. You got it, right? Okay, you're not fat, you're overly sweet, so we got to start getting rid of this extra sugar that you're holding on to in your system, okay? And we're going to talk about carbohydrates later. That's going to be next week, okay? So tune in next week to learn about the carbohydrate side of this. The fats, however, a couple things we need to be aware of, all right? First off, health goals. Okay, I listed these out last time. But questions you have to ask yourself, what are my health goals, okay? And that means long-term health goals. These are like life goals, okay? Health and life go hand in hand. If you don't have health, you don't have life, or at least you don't have a good one, all right? Good health, good life. Bad health, bad life. That's just how it goes, all right? So figure out what your health goals are for the rest of your life. What does that look like to you, okay? Don't know? Sit down, start thinking about it, okay? Start doing some spring cleaning. Start getting ready to build something monumental for yourself and your family, okay? Fitness goals. What are your fitness goals? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish in here? What do you want to accomplish for yourself, all right? You know, if you go crazy nutty and want to do a triathlon or an Ironman, go for it. Make sure you know what you're getting into before you do that. Find a pro to help you out with that one. Okay, workout goals. What kind of workouts are you going to go into, okay? Even the day of. Like, what kind of workout are you going to have that day? What are your goals for that day in that workout, okay? Is it just, do you just need to blow off some steam and de-stress, or are you trying to build something that day? Are you going for PR? Don't do PRs every day, people. You can't do a PR every day, okay? Do a PR like once a month. Otherwise, you stress yourself out, and you get hurt quickly. So you have those things to look at. Ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph, okay? What are you? Are you an ectomorph like me? It's tough to put on weight. It's tough to pack on weight. Guess what? You're gonna be eating a lot of everything, okay? Endomorph. You know, if you're big, you've always been big. You're probably an endomorph. You put things on very easily, okay? Your body knows how to store very well. So you need to be aware of that whenever it comes to calories and how much you're taking in and what you're taking in, okay? Probably more so than anybody else to some degree. And that's just an issue. The thing is, from a genetic standpoint, you can change that for your kids and your grandkids and great-grandkids because of what you do, specifically every day. If you start taking care of yourself, you start passing on better genetic coding to your kids and your grandkids, so they don't have to store as much. Their body's not going to store as much. They won't have the same issues that you have, okay? The goal is always to have create a better world for your kids and grandkids. Well, the best world you can give them is some better genes that you're passing on to them. That's a legacy right there, okay? Money's good and everything, but better genes, better health for your family, for the next couple of generations, how huge is that, okay? If you yourself, you struggle with all kinds of obesity issues. If you don't want that for your kids and grandkids, start working on that, okay? You may not have things perfectly, but the goal is for them to have something better, correct? All right, so start working on yourself so you can hand something to them, and they'll grow up in it. They'll grow up being healthier. They'll want to have healthy foods. They'll want to exercise. They'll want better things for their life. Okay, so if you can't do it for yourself, do it for the kids. But more importantly, do it for yourself. Okay, because you have to live with you. All right, so we have that. Speaking of hormones. Hormones get affected by fats. Fats are hormones, basically, and hormones are fats. Okay, they're hormones are made out of fats and made out of cholesterol. Okay, so if you start tossing them out of your diet, what happens? Hormones, go haywire. All right. For all the kids out there, if you have kids and they're having a hormonal issue and balance stuff, guess what? It's a fat issue. They're probably eating too little, or they're eating the wrong stuff. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. You got white fat versus brown fat. Okay, you've got two different types of fat going on in your body. White fat's this stuff you see on the outside that we all can't stand. The brown fat is stuff on the inside that you don't see that actually metabolically burns a lot of calories. It keeps you healthy, keeps your metabolic rate up. It keeps you warm. Okay, the brown fat is actually kind of located around your organs and stuff. You want that, and you know how you build it? By eating really good fats and exercising. Okay. Eskimos, by the way, have a lot of brown fat. So you got that. You got the high fat diets and the low fat diets. Okay, which one's better? Well, somewhat it comes down to some different factors. So protein, or not protein, but blood. Okay, type O versus type A. If you're type O, you're probably going to do better on the Atkins style diet. Okay, if you're type A, you're going to do better on Pritkins. Pritkins is the high carbohydrate, very low fat diet. Okay. Or vegans, okay, vegan vegetarian. All right, I covered that last time. So your blood type goes into that. Your ethnicity goes into that. Your genetic background goes into that. Okay, so if you can do a genetic test and find out what you need to be having from a dietary standpoint, those tests are out there, by the way. That's going to help out big time. You don't have to guess about it anymore. All right. There's actually a place here in Dallas that does that analysis. So yeah, learn that. It's going to save you a lot of heartache later on. Don't be a yo-yo, okay? You know what a yo-yo is? It's somebody that does this with their weight. Don't be a yo-yo. Quit being a yo-yo, all right? Quit doing the yo-yo diet thing. It's killing you, quite literally. It is killing you, okay? So there's that. All right, let's talk about some fat basics before we get into everything, okay? So we have some volatile fats and we have some very, very stable fats. Volatile fats, things that go bad very quickly. I'm talking about polyunsaturated. So fish oil, okay? We all know what fish oil is, EPA and DHA. You're supposed to take it, all right? And ALA, alpha linoleic acid as well. So, you're supposed to take these. They help out with brain health and cell health and everything else, okay? I'll get deeper into that here in a little bit. Those are very volatile, okay? They don't handle heat. They don't handle light. You want to keep those in a glass bottle. You want to keep them away from everything, okay? You want to protect those as much as you can because they'll go bad quickly. If they go bad, they're not doing anything good for you, all right? If you take a fish oil pill and you burp it up, toss those. It's not doing anything for you. It's gone rancid, okay? Seriously. Oh, yeah, take it at night, by the way. If you don't take my stuff, just know, as a baseline rule, take it at night, all right? Your body can use it then. It can't use it in the morning, or at least it doesn't use it very effectively. It goes to waste. Don't let it go to waste, okay? Technically, waste, okay? You get your monounsaturated fats, okay? Olive oil. We all know we're supposed to have some olive oil, extra virgin, some from Spain, by the way. Spain actually has some of the best olive oil in the world. So extra virgin, don't heat it. Try not to cook with it. Maybe use it in soups. Whatever. I'll get to that later. But it's really stable. Okay, it actually handles some heat. It handles some light and some oxygen, but not really well. Okay. Stable stuff. Saturated fats. Okay. So we're talking about from grass-fed beef or coconuts or palm fruit. Okay. Or avocados. All right. These are your saturated fats. They are good for you, by the way. All right. They're very good for you if you haven't heard the news lately about coconut oil and avocado oil and palm oil and stuff like that. Not the fraction palm oil. That stuff's junk. We'll get to that in a little bit. So that's how those work, okay? and it comes to the chain of these things, okay? So the triglycerides, remember this little bundle of three? Well, guess what? Fatty acids are like this. They just have really, really good, strong bonds. They got bonds like this, okay? They can take a lot of pulling before you break them apart, all right? But your omega-3s, they're tiny, okay? The monounsaturated, okay, your olive oils, they're a little bit longer chain, so it takes more to break them down. And they're not completely hydrogenated, okay? They don't have hydrogens at every place, all right? I know I'm going sciencey on you. Saturated, they've got hydrogen all across those things. That's why they're saturated, okay? At room temperature, they're solid, okay? When they go in your body, they're not solid, okay? What you're looking at on the table is not what happens in your body. You got enzymes and all kinds of stuff that help break it down and make everything work, all right? But they keep your system running. They keep your system running smooth, okay? You got to put oil in your car to make sure the engine runs smooth. You got to lubricate everything in your car. Same thing with your body. You have to put oil in it. You have to lubricate it, okay? The big difference here is your car's not a living thing. This is a living thing. You have to use those things to recreate your body every day, all right? So, now we got that. You ready for the big stuff, the real fun stuff? Because once again, you are not fat. You do, however, need to take in some good fats. So, a lot of this goes back to micronutrients. If you don't have the right micronutrients going in, you're going to store all kinds of stuff, okay? I'm just telling you. If you have Trojans going into your system, that means fake nutrients going in. Your body's going to try to store them, okay? They're toxins. Your body's going to try to store those things somewhere else and protect you from those, all right? So watch out for those. If your pH is off, if your body pH is off, you're going to do some storage, okay? Or at least you're not going to digest things very well. Nootropics. Like I said, you got to protect your fat up here, okay? You got a bunch of it up there. You want it to work well, all right? Pre-workout, post-workout nutrition helps out too. Why? Because that is all brain work in there, okay? Your brain's getting taxed, your neurological system's getting taxed, and both of those are made up of a lot of fats, all right? Yeah, you didn't know that? Your neurological system, okay? All the nerves in your body, guess what? A lot of fatty tissue there, okay? If you ever see one, if you ever see a nerve, it's spongy, fatty. I mean, it's pretty cool. By the way, if you didn't know, I've actually done some gross anatomy labs. I know. Proteins. Make sure you get the right proteins going in. Helps out as well because it helps keep your metabolism where it's supposed to be. This way, you're not storing stuff. You're fed. Okay, if you're getting the prime nutrient and you're getting enough of the prime nutrient, your body's not going to need as much of everything. Same thing with the micronutrients. All right. So micronutrients and proteins you gotta have. Essential fats you gotta have. All right. This way things run smooth in your system. All right. So let's talk about your cells. Every cell in your body, you got trillions of cells. They all have a wall around them. Okay. You remember, like 8th grade? Are you smarter than an 8th grader? 8th grade biology class. You had a little cell and you got a cell wall. The wall around that cell is all fat. Okay. It's all fatty acids. Okay. It's a fatty matrix, and you got some little sugars, coming off of it. We'll talk about that later. But if you're taking in bad fats, what happens to your cells? Well, they're going to be bad because you're giving them bad stuff to work with. You're giving them bad bricks, all right? If you give a guy bad bricks to build a building with, how long is that building going to last? Not very long, all right? You want the best bricks possible, and that's why you got to have really good fats. That way your cell walls are good. They're slick. They can pass by each other like this, okay? If you ever get a chance, do some live blood testing and see what happens with your blood. If it's stuck and it can't move, guess what? It's not moving in your body. That means you got bad blood flow, all right? Which is no good for anybody. So just for your cells alone, and every cell has a cell wall. Every cell in your body has a cell wall, okay? Repeat with me. Every cell in your body has a cell wall, and you got trillions of them. You have to take care of those, all right? You got to give them what you need there. Like I said, your brain is fat. It's a big lump of fat in your head, okay? If you didn't know, yes, you are a fat head. Deal with it. Make sure it's all good fats, all right? Not that trashy stuff. We'll get to what the trashy stuff is in a second. Hormones. All of your hormones are made from fats. Seriously, they're all made from fats and cholesterol. All of them. Your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone. Growth hormones not. We talked about that last week. That's all amino acids, funny enough. But your entire hormonal system is based around fats that are going in your system. So if you're putting bad fats in your system, how can you expect to have a good hormone system? How can you expect your hormone system to be in balance? How can you expect your cholesterol levels to be in balance? Okay, which cholesterol is really not based too much on dietary fat that goes in. By the way, really is stress. If your cholesterol level is high, guess what else is high? Your stress level is high. Okay, automatically, if somebody has high cholesterol, your stress level is through the roof, and you need to address the stress in your life. Okay, the cholesterol is trying to protect you. Your cholesterol is actually floating through your system. Okay, you see these cool little veins here? Your veins. The cholesterol collects on the side of those, like trying to fill potholes, because you start getting a little pits in your veins. The cholesterol fills those potholes in your veins so you don't spring a leak in your system and bleed out. All right? So all this cholesterol plaque that you hear about, or calcium plaque, what is that? It's calcium. It's in your system that's being bound to this cholesterol that's trying to keep a hole from occurring in one of these veins. All right? It's trying to protect you. That's why it's high. Your body's producing a lot of it to help line your veins that are not being cared for very well, so it can protect you, because you're not getting the right fatty acids to build the cells properly to rebuild those veins in your vascular system. All right? Just pointing that out. Plus showing off my veins. Check those out. See, you work out, you get more of those. You don't get more of them, but they pop out and they're cool, right? But that's what happens there, okay? You're trying to fill potholes, and then you're creating trap jams in your system. So if you have a blockage here, what happens? Or even just a little bit of a blockage. Think about being on 635. If there's a wreck in the right lane, what happens? If there's a wreck in the left lane, what happens? If there's a wreck in the right lane and the left lane, what happens? If there's a huge wreck, what happens? They have to shut down the freeway, all right? That's when you get a heart attack. You don't want that. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. So that's what happens with cholesterol, all right? And it does go with calcium, and having too much calcium roaming around in your system because you don't have enough magnesium to pull it back into the bone structure, all right? Stuff like that. So that's why the micronutrients are needed. So there's that. And hormones, once again, if your testosterone's low, I can guarantee you your cholesterol is high. If your estrogen levels are off, I can guarantee you your cholesterol is high. Why? Because your cholesterol is not being used in your liver to do what it's supposed to do, which is create the hormones that you need to keep things balanced. All right, so there's that. Digestion, okay? You've heard of fat-soluble vitamins and stuff? All right, if you go on a fat-free diet and you toss all the fat out of your diet, what's going to happen? Well, all these fat-soluble vitamins are gone. You can't get them in. So your vitamin A, your vitamin E, your vitamin D. You've heard about how important vitamin D is, right? Vitamin K. There's even fat-soluble forms of vitamin C. I don't recommend taking in too much of those because they build up quickly. But your body cannot take these in. If there's no fat present there, there's no fat present there to help your body absorb these things in your intestines, guess what? You can't take them in. You can't utilize them. You can't use them for producing everything you need to produce with them, okay? It's a whole myriad of stuff. So, yeah, fat-free diets, they're no good because you essentially are starving yourself of good stuff. So don't go fat-free, please. That's one big thing that you need to be aware of, okay? The other cool thing, okay, so fat-soluble stuff. You've heard of this thing called lymph, okay? Lymph glands, okay? This is where your entire immune system lives. This is where all your immune cells, that's where they float, okay? They're in your entire lymphatic system. The only way to give those guys the nutrients they need is to have some good fats going in, all right? So you'll see like turmeric. Turmeric is usually bound to some sort of a fat or fatty acid now to help it get into your system, and not just into your system, but into your lymphatic system. Same thing with vitamin A, same thing with vitamin D. This way, your body can use those things for what they're needed for to keep you healthy and keep you alive. All right? So there's that. So don't do the fat-free diets. Don't do the fat-free stuff. We're going to talk about the fat-free stuff here in a second. In fact, hey, you know what? Segue. So what's the best source? Where do I get my fats from? Well, You get your fats from animals and plants, preferably organic plants and nuts and seeds. Gluten or grass-fed cows. All right, free-range chickens, wild fish, wild-caught fish. I'm going to throw a picture up here in a little bit, okay, of wild-caught fish versus farmed fish. The farmed fish looks really pretty, okay? You've got the salmon, it's got this white and pink, and white and pink, and white and pink, okay? It looks awesome. It's like a little zebra. The wild-caught salmon is just a blanket of reddish pink, okay? There's almost no fat content in there, and what is in there is highly needed for you, all right? The farm fish, they got an easy life. They just kind of roam about. They're not having to swim up streams and stuff. So what do? Well, they're sitting around eating McDonald's. They're getting fat and lazy, all right? So whenever you eat farm stuff, you're eating fat, lazy stuff, which is going to do what for you? Well, it's going to make you fat and lazy, all right? It will, seriously. I posted something not too long ago. Actually, this is back on Monday, I think. You are what you eat, ate. Okay? You are what you eat, ate. All right? Whatever you ate, whatever it was eating, that's what you are. And that goes for plants too, by the way. So whatever's in that soil is what's going into your body if you're doing vegan or vegetarian, all right? Just realize that. That's why organic is so needed. And knowing, get the heavy metal testing on anything on that side of stuff, because there's heavy metals in that ground. It's going in you, all right? I'm not talking about this heavy metal, okay? We're talking about heavy metals that kill you. Heavy metal's good for the soul, man. It is. the rock and roll stuff. All right, so there's that man-made stuff. So all trans fats, all the margarines, and all the hydrogenated stuff. So if you see like fractioned palm oil or partially hydrogenated anything, okay, these are all trans fats. They're junk. They don't do anything but wreck your system, okay? You want to talk about synthetics? That's them, all right? Do everything in your power to never have them at all, as little as possible, all right? There are some natural trans fats, but you're hardly going to run into them, and you won't even know it whenever you do, all right? Technically, there are trans fats in coconut oil, okay? There are. But it's all good stuff, okay? They're transitional, okay? They flop back and forth between being unsaturated and saturated, all right? So they essentially go both ways in that respect. They're highly functional in the system. The stuff that we manufacture, well, we take a saturated fat and we try to unsaturate it a little bit, okay? We make a fraction of it. We partially hydrogenate it, which means we take the hydrogen that it needs. So it's like having that guy right there, and I take out a section of it. It's going to fall apart in there, right? Okay, same thing happens, and it's going to wreck your system. So just stay away from the man-made stuff, okay? If it came from a lab or a big factory farm, stay away from it. Eggs. For eggs, have the yolk, people. Seriously, have the yolk. And I'm going to post a picture down below. I suggest you come back and watch this again, as with all the videos. Look at the pictures. So I'm going to have a picture. There's going to be 3 yolks on there. Okay, you're going to see one that's farm-raised, and it's like bright yellow. I mean, it'll burn your eyes out if you look at it. That's how awesomely yellow and orange it is, okay? You have one that's kind of yellow, and it's going to be one of the free-range eggs that you'll buy at the store, okay? I've done this comparison myself at the house. It's awesome. And then you got just the regular store-bought eggs, and it's like it's albino. Okay, it's like me. All right, make fun of myself here for a second. Okay, it's got no tan. It's got no color to it. It's devoid of all nutrients. Okay, so it's going to take 10 of those. Well, actually, we'll put it this way. It's going to take 6 of those to equal one of those free-range eggs. Okay, and it's going to take about 3 of those free-range eggs to equal one of those farm-raised eggs. All right? You see how that goes? You see the nutrient value there? The swap off of that? So what I'm saying is find a farmer and start buying the eggs from him. And make sure that yolk is just like bright. It's like looking at the sun. It'll burn your eyes out. That's how bright yellow or orangish yellow it is. I mean, it's awesome. So, and with that, you're getting tons of nutrient value, okay? So you're getting all your A, your C, your E, your D, your B12, your B6, all kinds of other stuff in there. I mean, it's awesome stuff. You're going to feel fantastic if you have one of those, by the way. And no, it's not going to affect your cholesterol. If anything, it's going to bring your cholesterol down, and they taste awesome. So you've got that. So what are the sources? As natural as possible. Okay, take it old school. Find a farmer. Go to your farmer's market. Get as close to what you would have gotten 100 years ago as possible, because everything else is just not that great. Okay, we talked about the grass-fed beef last time. Grass-fed beef, tons of CLA, tons of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Like I said, it's like it's a lawnmower. They're lawnmowers. They roam around, they move, they eat grass, they trim up the lawn, and they have really good fatty acids. It's like a salmon. Okay, it's a land-bound salmon is what it is. All right. Seriously, the comparison is very, 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 very similar on the protein content and the fatty acid content between the two of them. All right, and they'll help you lose fat. Okay, or they'll help you lose all those extra Snickers bars you got wrapped up that you're storing away for the winter. All right, it's like a squirrel. Seriously. So we get that. Let's talk pills, powders, and patches, and we'll wrap this thing up, okay? Because I don't even know what time it is. What time we got here? Ooh, yeah, I gotta wrap this up. Sorry, 1:45. Look at that, people. I ramble on, don't I? All right, so last but not least, let's hit the ketone thing, okay? Because I know there's tons of ketone people out there. If you're gonna do this whole ketone thing, realize your workouts, you gotta back off on them. All right. Posted an article not too long ago on my show page, which show's coming back eventually, about that. You have to back off on your workouts, okay? You can't kill yourself on the workouts if you're going to take all the carbohydrate out. What are you going to use for energy? Okay, you're going to use muscle is what you're going to use. So you have all the ketone people out there giving you these ketones or these ketone bodies. They're giving you HMB. Anybody remember EAS back in the day? Bill Phillips, I still love you, man. But, okay, so they brought out HMB, okay, and the theory was it was going to help you build muscle. No, HMB is for use whenever you're going through major starvation, okay? Your body actually produces it to help preserve muscle as much as it can, all right? Most research on it was actually done on burn victims, okay? If you have a burn victim, their body's trying to repair, and really repair, okay? So it reduces muscle wasting, but only in extreme conditions. Otherwise, it doesn't do much for you. And here's the thing. If you're going to take down like 11 grams of this stuff, guess what's going to happen 45 minutes later? You're going to be peeing it out. So this whole peeing out of the ketones thing, yeah, you're peeing out what you just took in 45 minutes ago. All right? That's how it happens. You drink it down, 45 minutes later, you're going to be peeing some of it out. On that pee strip, and you say, oh, what? Look, I'm peeing out ketones. Well, yes, of course you are. Seriously. So, you know, if you can go that route, you know, it will help, okay? The HMB will reduce muscle wasting, okay? It does work. But just realize what you're doing, realize what you're being sold, and realize that stuff is really, really cheap to manufacture. So if you're paying a lot for it, well, you know, I hate it when people get ripped off, and a lot of you people are getting really ripped off. Really ripped off. Really ripped off, okay? Just telling you. So MCTs, so coconut oil, palm oil, using that before workout, awesome stuff. Using them a little bit after the workout, great. MCTs are fantastic, especially for brain energy, mental energy, awesome stuff. For muscle energy, awesome stuff. It's on tap, okay? Medium chain triglycerides. It's like taking those 3 Snickers. We're gonna like chop them, okay? And we're gonna take this front side off. We're gonna take it off, and we're just shove them in just your system. Use them like that, okay? There's no waste to them. They don't go to your waste, okay? They burn very quickly, very efficiently. MCT oils are awesome, by the way. Awesome stuff, especially for brain health. I'm telling you, for brain health, you gotta have them. A lot of them, by the way. Exercise on high-fat diet, well, I already covered that. Back off. Go 75%. Don't try to max out on stuff. Don't try doing all the HIIT stuff, okay? All the high-intensity cardio stuff while you're, you know, taking in nothing, all right? As far as carbohydrates, you're going to hurt yourself. Or at least come find an expert to talk about so we can, you know, we can figure out what you need to take in before you go through that. so you don't destroy your body, so you don't destroy your adrenals, okay? Listen to me here, people. Your adrenals. If you lose your adrenals, you lose everything. Once the adrenals go, thyroid goes. Everybody out there with thyroid issues, have your adrenals checked. Please have your adrenals checked. If your doctor won't do it, come to me, come to my website. I've got two different resources on there for getting your adrenals checked for incredibly cheap. Okay? Because if that doesn't get addressed, this doesn't get addressed. And if that doesn't get addressed, guess what? You're going to be doing a whole lot of storing. All right? We don't want that. So there's that. There's fats. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back next week. You can join me here, PhysioFit. Come in, we'll sit down, we'll chat. Otherwise, that's it. Next week is going to be carbs. And after that, you see this thing on my wrist right here? After we do the carbs, we're going to talk about wearables. You want to know why? Because there's a partnership that just got announced. And everybody out there, you're welcome. It was my pleasure to create that partnership. Okay?